Hi, this is Valerie. Today we're going to be making the tag box with tags. We're going to be using the ScorePal, and the paper sizes you're going to be using today are so we're going to start by using the 8x8 piece of cardstock. You're going to put it up into the ScorePal, and you're going to put it up into the up to the top fence left side, butt it up in the corner, and score it at 1, 2, 6, and 7. Rotate your paper a quarter turn and align it to the top fence in the left side again, and do the same thing. Score at 1, 2, 6, and 7. Now insert your score mat, because we're going to make a few cuts so that we can fold the box up when we're finished. So if you place it up into the upper corner, you can use the grids and the lines at the top, the ruler at the top, to make sure your cuts are straight. So I'm going to cut on the 7-inch line, and I'm going to cut all the way down to the second score that we did. Then I'm going to pick up my knife, and I'm going to start again at the score line and go all the way down to the edge of the paper. Now I'm going to go on to the 6-inch score line, and I'm going to cut from the top to the second score line, and then I'm going to pick up and do the same thing at the bottom, from the score line to the edge of the paper. I'm going to do the same thing on the 2 and on the 1. Now we're going to rotate the paper so it's easier to cut up and down. And we're going to cut, again, using the 1, 2, 6, and 7 as our guides. We're going to cut on the 1-inch down to the second score line, and from the second score line down to the edge of the paper. We're going to cut on the 2-inch to the first score line, and then we're going to pick it up at the first score line. What we're doing is creating the tabs and the foldovers for making the box. So now we're going to do the same thing on 6 and 7 inches. So on the 6-inch, you're just going to cut to the first score line, and again follow it, pick it up, and do it at the bottom. And on the 7, so now we've created a series of flaps. We're going to cut these small tabs, we're going to notch them so that they fold easily into the box. So just using scissors, just cut the corners out like so. We're going to make 4 additional very small sliver cuts from the outside here to the first score line. This is just really small. It's just going to allow the flaps to fold into each other without binding up in the corner. But you just want them just a little bit. You're going to do that on all 4 long. Now we're ready to put the score tape on. We're going to put it on the small flaps first. Now flip the paper over, and you're going to put score tape on the long flaps at the bottom edge. Okay, now we're going to pre-fold all the score lines that we've done. So now we're going to attach these small flaps to the inside to create the initial box form. So just line up your edges. We're going to just remove the liner off these long flaps and fold them in. So now that main part of the box is finished. We're going to set that aside and begin working on the inserts. So using one of the 1 7/8 by 5 7/8 pieces of cardstock, you're going to situate it in the score pal so that it's at about a 1/16. So you're just going to put it halfway between the corner and the 1/8 inch mark. And then you're going to score it at 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4. Repeat on the second piece. Now we're just going to fold these and set our scores. Repeat on the second. Now just add a small piece of score tape to this inside part. Burnish it down, remove the liner, and adhere it together. This is what you end up with. Do it on the second piece, and we're going to make the center part of the insert. So we're going to insert this with the shorter side at the top, and you're just going to score at 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2.5. So 1/2 inch, 1.5, and 2.5. And you're going to fold it up. And add a piece of score tape into the center of that as well. So now we're going to adhere together all 3 pieces. So if you put score tape down each of these long sides, and then taking one of the inserts, if you start it at the outside edge and line up the other outside edge, then push the middle down, then all the edges will be aligned correctly. Repeat. So now the insert is done for the box. It will fit right inside. So now we're going to make the transparency lid, a cover for this project. You're going to take the 4/16 by 11 inch piece of transparency, and I'll put it into your score pal up at the top fence, the left side, and score it at 2.5, 3.5, 7.5, and 8.5. You kind of have to press a little bit hard, and I'm going to give you a tip when we're done with this to have the scores be a little tighter. 3.5, 7.5, and 8.5. Now here's the tip. Because it's plastic, it doesn't score like paper does, so I take my metal ruler and I line it up against the score line, and I fold the transparency over and burnish it with my score tool. And I do that on all the scores. So I've done the scoring with all of the score lines that we did. So now you're going to take a piece of score tape and attach it to one of the edges. Now to make slide on and off is just put it on the box, take off the liner, and wrap the other sheet around and secure it. So now you've got the basic box. You can add into the box, and if you secure a ribbon around it, you don't see where the insert divides itself up. One thing you want to remember is to keep your tags about 1 3/4 inches or smaller. I've used a variety of Nestabilities punch dies here. I've also used made other ones using punches of different sizes and shapes as well. So that's your tag box made with the score pal. Thank you.